ladies and gentlemen, our future leaders, respected faculty members, valued students, and our esteemed guests. A warm welcome to another enlightening episode of GIBS IRE Talk series. I'm Professor Sandeep Bansali, and it's my pleasure to take you through to the discussion on today's topic that resonates everyone who wants to shine on LinkedIn, gain interest of your audience, and form a strong connection. Hence, today's topic is on power of personal branding and growth on LinkedIn. So before we dwell into the today's topic, let me share a few insights about GIBS Business School Bangalore. GIBS Business School Bangalore is an institute of an excellence. GIBS offers AICT approved PGDM program and BBA from Bangalore University. Exceptional faculty and a strong emphasis on practical learning. Our commitment at GIBS is to nurture leaders who are not only successful in their professional endeavors but also influential community members. And when we speak about the GIBS IRE talks, our commitment here is to extend beyond education to nurture innovation, research, and entrepreneurship. Through our IRE talks, we aim to ignite minds and inspire actions by connecting you with the visionaries and leaders who've made to a significant stride in their personal field. Currently, we are focusing on the power of LinkedIn and the personal branding. To have that, we have the voice of LinkedIn, I would say. She seems quite young, but they say no, you should never judge a book by its cover. So we have our keynote speaker as Ms. Radhika Bajoria. Ms. Radhika is a founder of Radically Yours, a US registered new age knowledge sharing platform for new businesses and investment funds. She is involved in policy advocacy measures and engages in bridging the gap between the investors as well as the investees companies globally. She is one of the top 20 LinkedIn influencers in the country with more than 223,000 plus followers, and it still goes on. She writes on innovative business ideas that are being adopted across the globe. Ms. Radhika was also recognized as one of the top 25 most influential women of Mumbai in 2021 by World Women Leadership Congress and extensively involved in speaking on various public forums. She has also been invited for workshop at IIM Calcutta, being a TEDx speaker at the age of 21, and she still thinks that it's just the beginning of a beginning, right? So we are very, very eager to listen from you, Ms. Radhika. But before I hand it over, one last request I have to the audience. Whatever doubts you have, whatever queries you have, you can certainly put it across in the Q&A section. Probably we would request Ms. Radhika to take those questions at the end of the session. And let's have an interactive session. I'm sure we are here to learn a lot of new things about LinkedIn. Right? Over to you, Ms. Radhika.
Thank you, Sandeep, for that long introduction. Sometimes, I wonder if this introduction is sufficient enough because, like I mentioned in my writing, if it's just a beginning of a beginning. And I think this introduction, when I was a student, it used to pressurize me a lot when I would hear about the speakers that, oh my God, they've done so much. How will I reach to this position, So I think that I hope my introduction has not stressed out to any student, although it's not as huge as some of the visionary leaders that we have. But still, I hope you guys don't take this stress, that you also have to achieve X number of followers on LinkedIn or have a branding for yourself. It takes time, but it is a play of consistency at the end of the day. So yeah, that is what I wanted to say in the beginning as a disclaimer, that do not take anything very seriously and just be inspired by journeys including mine. Don't ever think that anything is set in stone and you have to follow it as per what it's being told. Always follow your own path. Don't be guided by my story or anybody's story. Create your own story, and of course take some guiding points from our stories. That's what I want to start with. And Sandeep, you had some questions you were telling me around the line so that I can then specifically answer each one, because I know you've curated those questions basis the students what they wanted to know. So because I can go on and on speaking, and it won't help, because if I don't answer a specific set of question which people want to hear the answers to, then it will be of no use. So let me make this limited time very helpful for all our listeners and give all the value add. So I'll leave it to you to ask me certain questions that you would want me to answer.
Okay, so first, when we speak about today's generation, right, when we say youth Gen Z, so the first thing which comes to my mind is LinkedIn only for a job or only for recruitment? or why an individual should create a good LinkedIn profile which should be active in life?
I think LinkedIn is like your virtual identity, just like your name. Today, I am being known as Radhika in the world, but how do people know my name in the world? People who are not meeting me in person. It's only through social media platforms like LinkedIn. And more so, LinkedIn is important if you are in a professional world. Like, for example, if you're in the industry of fashion or media, it might not be as prominent, as Instagram is. But if you are in finance, particularly, or in IT, or any other sector for that matter, then having a strong profile on LinkedIn really distinguishes you from the rest. Because, as per the latest data, at least some 90 million Indians are there on LinkedIn looking for jobs on a daily basis, having different profiles. Now, how do you separate yourself from those 90 million people and tell your recruiter that, hey, I am also one of the candidates that is suitable for your organization? And the recruiter has no option, but what if he finds a similar profile like yours? Now he'll be confused, right, which one to take. So now in this case, what will distinguish is the kind of content that you've been putting out on LinkedIn. And I remember this, speaking to somebody from Apple. Even that senior management leader at Apple had made his LinkedIn, because he told me that people, he was visiting China for an investment. He said that people in China asked me for my LinkedIn profile, because LinkedIn is the new CV today. And no matter what PDF you send, what PPT you send, people will only look at LinkedIn, because that's the app that they are also on. That's like an equal playground, right? जैसे पहले के टाइम पे फेसबुक देखा करते थे लोग, अभी इंस्टाग्राम देखते हैं, और आज के टाइम पे कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड में तो लिंक्डइन ही देखते हैं, फर्स्टली. Like, for example, if I have to invite a guest for my podcast show, or if I have to interview a candidate, I will only look at the LinkedIn, nothing else. I personally, I can tell you that I don't look at anybody's CV, because I feel कि LinkedIn पे अगर जिसने मेहनत की, he is a hustler or she is a hustler. Because CV तो सब लोग ही बनाते हैं, right? Because it's a part of your job. But if you go on and above and make a LinkedIn profile, not just fill up your education details or your professional details where you worked before, but also go ahead and write something about your skill set or something that you're passionate about, then it shows me or the recruiter that, okay, this person really is in desperation to get a job in this particular sector, and they're really passionate about it. So, Brookfield, it's a big private equity fund. I'll give you an example. They manage some $650 billion in asset, which is some 4 trillion crores in rupees. And that managing director at Brookfield told me that they only look for three things, which is a PhD. And this PhD, by the way, is not our PhD. It stands for poor, hungry, and desperate. So they only look for these skill sets. No IIT degree, no IIM degree, no Harvard degree. So today the world is changing, and people are looking at these candidates who have extra passion and who can go the extra mile. So I think for that reason, having a profile on LinkedIn is extremely important. And now you might argue that, what if I'm a startup founder? मेरा अगर खुद का business है. But by the way, खुद का business होने से फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. If you want to scale it up, of course, एक भी कोई भी shop में बैठ के आजकल they think that, they are the lalas, they are running the businesses, they own it all. But if you have to make a global name for yourself, or at least a name in your community, you need to have a social profile. And it's okay for some people to stay silent and not have anything at all. But you have to be okay with that life also, that it won't be rewarding in public to you, because the public only rewards you as per what they see in the public limelight, not what you're doing behind the screens. So that is the journey which comes with social media, and everybody has their own takes on it. And I personally always wanted my work to be seen, and that impact I could only create with the kind of stories that I'm speaking to women with, the stories that they come from. I could only make that impact when other thousands or lakhs of people are hearing that story. अगर बस मैं ही उनकी story सुन रही हूँ तो उससे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? It's just a conversation. So I for me, that's the reason why LinkedIn became very more very much important because it was the only medium to talk to thousands other people. Because कितने लोगों के पास मैं एक एक जाके बोलूंगी कि मैं ये पॉडकास्ट शो चलाती हूँ, आप सुनो, आपका फीडबैक दो. In fact, if I spend that amount of time just writing a post about a person and shooting it, it will reach to like thousands of people, and which other people I don't even know from which part of the world. Today I get messages from people from Lucknow, Bihar, saying that we heard your podcast and now we feel like taking a step ahead. And these are all women, by the way, because I run a show with women leaders, and they were saying that now I have more courage to speak to my family and tell them that this lady decided to quit her job and start something of her own, and now see where she is today, so you should also let me start. So I think that kind of impact, when I know social media can create, I feel more motivated to post. And that's been my personal agenda for being on LinkedIn. But it can be different for different people, but that is how it works, and that's why you should choose to be on LinkedIn. And it's a very important question you raised, why be on LinkedIn? Agar purpose hi nahi pata ho, to you will be like a headless chicken, you'll go all over the place. Pata hi nahi hoga ki LinkedIn pe karna kya hai aur kyun ho aap wahan pe, and you won't see any result. And as a matter of that, you will feel फ्रस्ट्रेटेड कि यार इससे तो कुछ फर्क ही नहीं पड़ रहा है, मैंने प्रोफाइल ही क्यों बनाया. यू विल डिलीट द ऐप फ्रॉम योर फोन. So it's better to know why you're getting onto the platform before even starting to do anything, before even you download the app for that matter. Because every app takes a storage space in your phone. Consider it as some money going from your pocket. Then you'll understand why you should give importance to each thing that is there on your phone and the app that you have downloaded for that matter. And I personally took like 6 months to understand what LinkedIn is. And I'm sure today, आजकल की तारीख में तो everybody understands in a day. So I think we are much ahead of our time, and everybody's become much smarter. I started at a time when LinkedIn was just coming up during lockdown. उसके पहले तो people were all on Instagram getting viral through their reels, and everybody focused there. So I took a really big, huge amount of time. But today you see every Instagram influencer also building their LinkedIn profile, because everybody knows how important it is if they have to raise money for their business or to get known in the investor market or get money for what they're doing. So yeah, I'm sure that we have a lot of people who want to start their businesses or join corporates. So we'll see many more LinkedIn profiles after this session if they haven't created already. And for those who have created, please start writing something. Don't just be happy with the fact that you've downloaded the app and सारा information fill करके अच्छा CV बना लिया है. Go beyond what you've done.
Okay, that's really great what you said. As I in Hindi they generally they say, I completely agree with you. जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. So first is you have to put across your thoughts on the platform so that at least you should be visible to make your personal brand,
Yeah.
right? So moving ahead, just want to understand one more thing. Since I would say if I'm a newcomer to LinkedIn, I have say about 1,000 audience, okay, 1,000 followers with me, 1,000 connections, I would say rather. So how does the algorithm of LinkedIn work? Does it visible if I post something? Does it visible for everybody, or is there any specific algorithm which works on LinkedIn?
So if, for example, I start with 100 connections on LinkedIn, that my post of course will be visible to those 100 connections. Now if those 100 connections like or comment or share that post with any other person, then it will appear in those 100 connection feed as well. Like for example, if Sandeep is my connection and you have 500 other connections on LinkedIn, if you like my post will be visible to my 100 connections plus your 500 connections as well. So that is the reason, and it is a very different algorithm. Instagram doesn't have this, neither Facebook. And that's why people say that having a reach on LinkedIn is much more easier, and you can build it, because if you connect with the right people who have the right reach, if they engage with your post, you will be seen in the right places with the right people. And that's what I used to do earlier. I used to comment on the people's post so that when they engage with my comment or they like it, it would be seen. My name will be seen, Radhika Bajoria, on LinkedIn, on those people's feed. And of course, I started with comment. Now you might think, कि मैं post क्यों नहीं की? Why did I start with commenting? Because if I posted on my own, I didn't have a brand back then, right? So why would anybody engage with it? Anybody who's big. But if I comment on their post, they will be like, ठीक है, मेरा ही तो post है, इस पे मैं ही नहीं engage करूंगा तो और कौन करेगा? So they would always engage on my comment, and that comment would be seen by other 1,000 people who are following that big shot person. So that's how I started, and that's like an easier way for you to also start by commenting on the right people's post in your industry or work. For example, if you want to build a brand in finance, figure out who are the big influencers on LinkedIn who are talking about finance. Comment really valuable insight. ये सब नहीं लिखना है awesome post, incredible insights, good post. ये सब इतना like you don't have to use those jargons just for the heck of commenting. Add something really valuable which will make the writer of the post or the influencer also think कि यार ये कौन सा बंदा है और बंदी है जिसने इतना कुछ अलग कमेंट किया है मेरे पोस्ट पे, so they will also feel like engaging with you. And then once they start seeing this more and more, your name will automatically spread out in their community, and then you can start building your own community with your own posts. So here also consistency really matters. ऐसा सोचना मत कि एक दो बार कर दिया तो बहुत कुछ हो जाएगा. At least try to do it for 1 month, ऑल्टरनेट डेज या ट्वाइस अ वीक एटलीस्ट करो पोस्ट एक ही आदमी के पोस्ट पे. एंड ऐसे 10 आदमी लोग ढूंढो जिसका प्रेजेंस बहुत है लिंक्डइन पे. इफ यू स्टार्ट डूइंग दैट इवन फॉर 1 month, you will start seeing the results.
Okay, that's really nice. And the same question has been asked by one of our audience. Rekha is that's what she's asking. I have seen your LinkedIn profile. You have 2.5 lakhs followers. Is there any algorithm to reach more audience? I think you have just now answered that specific
Yeah,
question on that.
commenting really helps. It helps you boost your algorithm. And today, if you post a picture, not your picture by the way, let me be very clear. आजकल तो लोग selfies डाल रहे हैं. I don't know what not they're putting. Birthday cake का picture डाल रहे हैं, अपने dog का picture डाल रहे हैं. But I don't think so. That's the image that you want to create for yourself. See, आजकल सब चीज के लिए फॉलोइंग है. उर्फी जावेद के लिए भी फॉलोइंग है, और सब्यसाची के लिए भी फॉलोइंग है इंटरनेट पे. So you have to decide which market you have to be in. But इमेजेस के साथ अगर आप अपना कंटेंट पोस्ट कर रहे हैं तो उस पे ज्यादा लाइक्स या एंगेजमेंट आता है एज पर दी एल्गोरिदम.
Okay, that's really great. Thank you so much for that. And recently, I happened to see that you have been called by CNBC as a jury, right? So, what do you think when you that's basically, I think that was for the skill talent event under 17, if I'm not wrong, right? So when you guide anybody to put across their talent, put across any skill on LinkedIn, so how they should, I would say, prioritize, or how they should put it across in the LinkedIn with regard to their skill or with regard to their talent, whatever they have.
So, for example, I had this skill of breaking down different concepts into simpler terms. So, what I would do is pick up the newspaper every morning, read all the news, pick up something which can relate with a lot of audience. Now, if I write something about India's GDP, everybody is following that. So, I will know कि अगर मैं इस पे कुछ लिखूंगी तो बहुत लोग पढ़ेंगे. Versus if I just write something on telecom, which only limited set of readers, which won't work, so I won't pick up that topic. So the first step is I'll pick up a topic that will resonate with the mass. Second step is that how do I break it down in a way that it becomes more interesting than the article in the newspaper on or the article on that Google page. So what I did was that I started making posts in a way that I used to go back into the history of some companies. Or if you take India's GDP, I'll talk about the history कि कैसा था और अभी कैसा हो रहा है, what factors are changing it. अब अभी elections आ रहे तो how is that going to change? So I talk about the past, present and the future of everything in just those 200 to 250 words. Because if you see the news article, it will only talk about the current state of things. And if you go to read an article which talks about all the past, present and future, it will be more than 1,000 words. ना ही किसी के पास टाइम है ना ही एनर्जी है इतना पढ़ने का आजकल. So now that was my differentiating factor, that how did I break that point into just 200 words and present it that simply कि 5 साल का बच्चा भी कोई पढ़ेगा तो उसको मजा आएगा पढ़ने में. So that is how you establish the relatability and the fun element in your post. Because you have to understand कि आजकल इतना serious knowledge हर जगह हो गया है that humor, that element of comedy, if you put into your posts, and not like cheap comedy or very bad jokes, but something related to the topic, if you put into it, just like Rahul Subramanian does excellently on LinkedIn, you should read his posts. If you do something like that, people will be amazed, they will enjoy reading your content, because at one point in time, I used to write stories on brands, like how many people here in the audience now would know which is the parent company of Dettol. For the longest time I thought that Dettol in itself is a company, where बहुत लोग को ये पता ही नहीं कि Reckitt Benckiser is a parent company which has a brand which is Dettol. So that was some trivia which amazed people. And when I wrote about the story of Dettol, people were like, wow, ये भी होता है क्या? Because Dettol is something which everybody uses, right? सबके घर में Dettol है, everybody uses it on daily basis. And then when you get to know a shocking fact of that product that you use on a daily basis, you feel like, wow, this is something really valuable to me. And when you see that knowledge coming from one person every day on LinkedIn, you feel like following them and you become a loyal follower of that person. So that is how I built it. And I think that is how people can start doing it also. Just pick up your niche, at least understand what is it that you are interested in reading. एक बार कोई चीज पढ़ने में मजा आ गया आपको, तो you can do it over and over and over again and find topics to write. Because if you just feel like कि ठीक है आज ये ट्रेंडिंग हो रहा है तो मैं ये लिख लूंगा, तो you'll run out of topics and you'll not be able to build your profile, because वो motivation कुछ ही दिनों के लिए रहेगा, right? It took me like 5-6 years now to build this kind of following and build this kind of loyal customers. At least like 66 people are attending today. I don't think so 5 years back even one person would come to listen to me. So it takes time. That is the bottom line. Don't be in a hurry at all. Don't think कि एक साल भी हो गया और मेरे को रिजल्ट नहीं आ रहा है. It's fine. Keep doing your job. And भागवत गीता में it's said, no, कृष्ण भगवान says to अर्जुन that कर्म करते जाओ, फल की चिंता मत करो, कभी ना कभी तो आएगा ही. और अगर फल नहीं आ रहा है तो कोई कोई बात नहीं, just change your gears, but give yourself at least 1,000 days, which is 3 years, for anything that you do in life. Don't ever take harsh decisions on yourself कि अरे इतना भी नहीं हो रहा मेरा तो मैं तो छोड़ ही देता हूँ. At least give yourself 3 years. फिर नहीं हुआ तो you can decide कि okay, this platform is not meant for me. You will only get tired, but give that shot and give it a focus shot. Don't just randomly write on anything and expect your audience to follow you.
Absolutely right. As you said that give 1,000 days. That is very very important because now when we check, the level of patience is very very short. They feel I did today something and I need the results tomorrow, which is practically speaking not possible. I mean, as you rightly mentioned that yes, everybody needs to give at least 1,000 days to make yourself look become a brand, right?
Hmm.
From a signature to becoming an autograph, that at least needs 1,000 days, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure Radhika is sharing a lot of autograph. I would say recently when I saw you being with Mr. Ronnie, the founder of Upgrad. So I'm sure when you build your brand, see, for all those audience who don't know who is Mr. Ronnie Screwwala, he's basically the founder of Upgrad. And when you say that, when you stand with somebody like that, by default, your brand also increases there.
Hmm.
And Mr. Ronnie had commented, or rather, he had acknowledged your post, and he said, like, thanks for sharing it. That itself makes the content more relevant,
Yeah.
right? So the one more question has been asked by Prajwal. Prajwal says, what are some easy ways to make my LinkedIn profile stand out?
पहली बात तो there's no easy way in life for anything. So don't assume कि कुछ भी easy मिलेगा, because हम लोग कभी कभी हमारे ही assumptions में हमारे dreams kill कर देते हैं, because we think कि it's very easy to get, and when it doesn't come to us we give up. So, and when we especially have the potential, so don't assume anything. Just feel that the process is going to be lengthy and the steps are going to be a lot. So keep taking that step. I mean, nobody makes like a good body in just one day or 1 month. It takes at least 6 months of dedication and hard work consistently to have a good body and have a good LinkedIn profile, again on the same lines. So I think the steps to build a good profile is that you really talk about what you do in your bio in just like one line, one simple line. For example, if you're working in financial sector, just say that my day job, my job is to like analyze companies' balance sheets. If you are working in mergers and acquisitions, just write M&A at the top. Or if you are in investments, just say that investing in high value businesses. So that in that one crisp line, which becomes like your elevator pitch for LinkedIn. Elevator pitch is usually 2 minutes in person. On LinkedIn, it's just 2 seconds. So people won't have the time for more than 2 seconds to read what you've written. So make it so crisp that in 2 seconds they can get to know you very briefly and what you do. So that's point number one. Point number two is that your description should have a sense of what you are doing plus what you're interested in as a person, what defines you as a personality. Because see, the kind of work today you're doing, thousand other people are doing, but now how do you make use of that work in other sectors? Like for example, are you having an impact in that sector? If you're in finance, what kind of give back are you giving to the society? Are you teaching to younger kids on weekends, or are you creating content around what you are doing on social media? Or for example, if you have any hobbies outside of work, any sports that you play, write about that. But don't just write that I love playing badminton or I love playing cricket. Write it in a way that it sounds very mature. Right, like if you like playing cricket, write that I love the sportsmanship that cricket brings. And the lessons that I learned personally from playing cricket is that each one of the person in the team is very key, and there's no one king or one captain. The captain in itself is a part of the team, and everybody is equally treated. And those are the values that I personally have in my life, and that's why I follow this sport apart from the physicalities of it, which is like I of course love playing. So when you write like this, people will be shocked. People will be like, wow, this person has some thought process behind why they like something or why they dislike something. So that is how you will distinguish yourself amongst the crowd on LinkedIn who just writes that, I do this, I do that, this is what I do outside of work, this is my hobby XYZ. you know so try to build yourself differently and explain everything in very very crisp words, and make sure you explain, because people don't even take the time to explain. So that is something you do on your profile to make it very good. Third is that you start writing content and write very short pieces. आजकल long form का चल नहीं रहा है. Even the algorithm is not promoting long form content. Articles तो भूल से भी मत लिखना, because इतनी मेहनत करोगे बिल्कुल traction नहीं आएगा. You'll feel bad. So try to write between 100 to 150 word post, very short. And try to do infographics. अगर ज़्यादा information देना है तो pictorial format में दो infographic के through. Because when I did that during the pandemic, I saw a lot of traction on my post suddenly. And when you write stories of other people, how they grew from rags to riches, or how they transformed their careers, that is very interesting for people to read. So these were the kind of sectors where I saw growth, and which you can also adopt in your industry or work to see how it's working out for you. One is infographic, and one is stories of other people, and stories of yourself if you have an inspirational story to share. So these three things will make your profile very different and will make you stand out as well.
Okay, so again, key takeaways from here are let the post be small, crisp. It should be within say 100 to about 150 words. Try working more on infographics. And at the same time, when we see this, there's one more question which has been asked by one of our audience. He says, when you say short content, story is okay, but how important is to have a professional picture on the LinkedIn?
Yeah, like I told you that आजकल कुछ भी बिकता है. Like पान मसाले की एड भी बिकेगी, और कोई एजुकेशनल एड, बैंक इंडस बैंक की भी एड बिकेगी. So like everything has a market, and you have to choose which market do you have to be in. So I think it's a very subjective call to take. I personally never wanted to just get likes by posting my beautiful pictures, or showing off my face or my body or my dresses, because a lot of people do that, and I don't know if it's right or wrong. I'm nobody to judge, but some people do it. I don't like doing it. So what I do is that I post a picture with somebody like Ronnie Screwwala you mentioned, and I like to present myself as that okay, I am talking to these visionary leaders, and this is what I'm gaining from them, and that's why I'm sharing with my audience, so that you all can also gain from it. So I think पिक्चर डालने में तो कुछ भी डाल सकते हो, बट इट्स टोटली अप टू यू. What kind of content are you producing, and accordingly you have to cater to your audience, because on day one you have to understand what audience are you targeting. You can't change your audience midway. Like for example, I've done 5 years of finance content, now I decide to do fashion content. जो मेरे फॉलोअर्स है वो भी चले जाएंगे, और नए लाने भी मुश्किल होंगे. सो यू कांट चेंज गेयर्स लाइक दैट ऑन सोशल मीडिया वेरी इजीली. ऑफ कोर्स देयर आर सब्सिडरीज. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर आप फैशन में हो तो लाइफस्टाइल भी कर लोगे, ट्रैवल भी कर लोगे, ब्यूटी का कंटेंट भी कर लोगे, वो सब कर सकते हैं. बट फाइनेंस एंड फैशन आर टू डिफरेंट फील्ड्स ऑल टुगेदर. तो वो नहीं कर सकते. तो फ्रॉम डे वन चूज व्हाट यू वांट टू बिल्ड योर ऑडियंस इन, एंड उसके अकॉर्डिंगली यू पोस्ट. Now, if you're in finance, like Masoon Meenawala, she's a very big beauty content creator on Instagram. She has millions of followers. She's now doing great content on LinkedIn also. Now she posts her pictures every day. For her it's good because उसका काम ही ये है करना. Now if I start doing that, वो बहुत खराब लगेगा, right? Because my niche is not as same as hers. So choose your niche, and I think you'll get the answers all by yourself.
Okay, so that's really nice. And just as you mentioned about the audience, Ashwini is asking, how can I get more people to recommend me on LinkedIn?
You can't like you can't control the outcome of the other person. You can only control your outcome, which is in your hand. Don't ever try to control the uncontrollables in your life, because you will stress yourself out and chase the wrong goals. That shouldn't be your goal. What your goal should be, that how do I create a content which I'm 100% happy with, and I know that nobody can write it better than I have done. So if you have that personal satisfaction and you know that you've given your best, I think people will automatically start you giving start giving you recommendations. And don't ever ask for it unless you've worked with a person or they have been your managers or mentors. Then it's okay to ask. But asking a stranger who's been your follower to give you a recommendation, it's not very organic. And today there are many inorganic ways to grow, but I'm not one of them, so I can't give you any recommendations. Maybe people who do it, you should speak to them, and I don't even know who does it in today's time. I personally believe in organic growth, and I think good work speaks for itself and people recognize it automatically. Today there are so many magazines that ask you to pay for recognitions, but Forbes magazine, CNBC magazine, they won't ever ask you money, because they only give you recognition and recommendation basis your merit and the work you've been doing. So you have to decide whether you have to be a part of Forbes or part of those paid magazines. दोनों टाइप की मार्केट है इसमें भी. And you can of course ask people, they will give you recommendation, but I don't think so that is a very respectable or high valued way of growing, as compared to waiting for people to see your work and focusing only there, and then having recommendation from high level kind of people who write to you by themselves without you even asking.
So that's it's always better to go in an organic way rather than creating your artificial. By then only you can make yourself happy. Nobody else would be happy with the content, right? So moving ahead, Ranju is asking, is it worth getting LinkedIn Premium?
Yeah, it is actually better than LinkedIn Premium. It's good for you to get LinkedIn Sales Navigator, because LinkedIn Premium only allows you to write to 15 people whom you're not connected to. एंड लिंक्डइन में ये थोड़ा गेम ट्रिकी है. जैसे इंस्टाग्राम पे डीएम्स आप किसी को भी भेज सकते हो, शाहरुख खान को भी भेज सकते हो, बट लिंक्डइन पे शाहरुख खान अगर है और उसको भेजना है आपको, देन यू हैव टू बी कनेक्टेड टू देम, और यू हैव टू हैव अ प्रीमियम टू सेंड देम अ मैसेज इन देयर इनबॉक्स. नाउ प्रीमियम में क्या 15 ही मैसेजेस मिलते हैं, एंड इट्स कॉस्टिंग व्हाट आई थिंक सम 3500 rupees. Whereas Sales Navigator is just 5500 rupees and you get 50 credits. So you can reach out to 50 more people. Now, in my line of business, I have to do a lot of reach outs for inviting people for our events, for our shows. So I, of course, prefer a Sales Navigator. But if you don't have to make reach outs on a daily basis, if it's very limited, then Premium is a better option for you.
Okay, that's really great. So I would suggest go for Sales Navigator rather than the LinkedIn Premium.
And a lot of people,
Okay.
in early days used to buy premium, because premium का क्या है, वो golden LinkedIn sign है ना. So मेरे को भी ये पहले लगता था in the first year of my journey on LinkedIn कि oh my god, if I have a premium, I have this golden badge, people will reply to me, they will see that I am a recognized personality. But ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. बाद में मुझे पता चला है just like कोई भी पे करके ले सकता है, इसमें LinkedIn का कुछ हाथ नहीं है. Get that other LinkedIn ka blue badge on your profile, then that's very honorary, because no matter how much money you pay, you won't get it. It's purely basis of your work and merit. But premium, I think पहले लोग लेते थे. I think this person was asked the question, if you're taking the premium account just to get that badge, don't do it.
Okay, great. So moving ahead with the next question, what strategies can individual use to stand out in a crowded LinkedIn feed and increase visibility of the personal brand? I think you've already answered this
Yeah.
to as you mentioned, like infographics, or let the content be short and crisp.
Ah.
Have more humor in your content. I'm sure in that case it will be able to help out. So moving ahead to the next question, what type of content works best for engaging people on LinkedIn? Again, I would say it's something which, as you mentioned, it's more to do with pick your own topic.
Yeah, and pick a good relevant picture. Don't post any irrelevant pictures. But a good way to engage is by posting pictures with your content. Don't just post a content because आजकल pictures are speaking more than the words, and it's an
More
old
than
age
ever.
thing. So it's coming back to age, and people are more paying attention to your pictures and then reading your content. पहले होता था कि people would read your content because that would appear first and then your picture. Now people decide whether to read your content or not depending on what picture you've posted.
Picture
So
I've put.
do that, but don't post videos. Videos slows down the algorithm. It doesn't give you enough reach. So avoid posting long videos or avoid posting too many pictures at once.
Okay. So thank you so much for that. And Arun is asking, how do I make new connections without being very pushy? So in the sense, I think he's trying to understand that we should not be like behind people. Please, madam, you accept my request. But
हाँ.
how do we make more connections?
No, you should just in the start connect with people who are like-minded and who are doing similar work as yours. But start posting content and say that, hey buddy, we I just posted this content. Would love to hear your feedback and also get connected to you to know your views. If you have some time, please do let me know. Also, you can just say that on a shorter note that I'm new to this platform. I'm trying to build a profile in this XYZ domain. I love your content and would like to get connected. So can we connect? Messages like these, which also give them a good compliment for their work and also show them that you want to get connected to them to get some value of them. Because tell them that your content has been inspiring and I want to, write similar content and would like to stay connected with you to get all the updates on what you're posting. So it will be great if you accept my request. So people do that. But if your message is just that, please accept my connection request, which I get a lot. I don't even look at it. But if I have a nice 2 3 line paragraph message which talks about why I should look at their profile or accept their request, I will of course go ahead and do that, because I see the effort behind that message more than what the message is also about. So always go ahead because just think about it that you're living in a world which is very cutthroat and competitive, and just think that how can you be ahead. If you think that, you will all have all the answers. But if you think that you're a part of that rat race, you will still remain there. Try to think that you want to get away from the crowd and you will start thinking automatically of newer ways to approach things.
So as you rightly mentioned that let's not be that you just accept my connection. There's always one when you send a connection, you always have a note, add a note, right?
Yeah.
Where we have seen that most of them without a note, they just send it across. So in that case, I'm sure it is just like you are collecting the pebbles, which is of no use, right? So it's something like that. Okay, great. So what types of content perform best for personal branding on LinkedIn?
It really depends on what kind of personal branding are you want to create. Like I told you, for fashion, you follow Masum Binawala. For humor, follow Rahul Subramaniam. For finance, follow this guy called Azim Dhru. He's the CEO of SBFC Finance. He writes really interesting topics, but his posts are a bit lengthy since his audience is more of CEOs. So everybody reads it. But you have to see how do you make it crisp. It'll just give you an idea of what topics to post when you read his posts. So do that,
Okay.
and also for you can see Kushal Lodha's post. He writes a lot on his journeys and his experiences. So if you have to write something on your personal stories, his kind of posts will be good for you to refer to. And yeah, there are many people. Find your own role models and don't go by my recommendations, because you might think कि ये क्या बकवास content लिखा है इन लोग ने, because what I like you might not like. So just find out your niche and see your people. LinkedIn has a really nice way of filtering out people. So if you search a particular kind of profile, you can filter their location, their position, their industry of work, their last post, recent post, all of that. Just go through them and see what they've done, and you'll find the answers on how you can do it for yourself.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Next question has been asked by Tausif Rahman. He says, "Hello, ma'am. Nowadays, everyone is in LinkedIn profile. How can my LinkedIn profile be attractive, attract recruiters and my friends?
So I think I mentioned this in the beginning only about how your profile needs to be attractive. So I think you'll have to probably post the recording for people who've joined late so that
Yes,
they
yes,
can
it
hear
will
my
be.
answers and benefit from it.
Certainly. So the next question is being asked by Deepthi. She says, "What should I do if I don't have much work experience to list on LinkedIn?"
That's completely fine now, but you will have good educational experience. Populate that field with everything that you've done in your school, be it your co-curricular activities, be it topping a paper, supporting your teachers with any work, everything that you've done. Just think ki educational place was your workplace, and how would you define your activities in that school or college, as if it was a corporate world for you, and then start writing down. And it's fine that you don't have a work experience. I mean, everybody starts as a fresher, but you can make your own profile by writing about what you've already done in the past. कोई एनजीओ में काम किया होगा या कोई नॉन work related activities की होगी, like you might have a hobby of dancing or painting. Write about that, and write about that in a very very unique way, like I was telling you about cricket's example, right? If you write about your hobbies in a unique way, because that's the only thing you have currently to write about, people will get attracted to that.
Okay, thank you so much. The next question is being asked by Neetu. Neetu says, "If you don't have events coming in or something new happening, how do I stay consistent? What shall I post, ma'am?"
If you don't have what?
Post, if I don't have any events as such, if there is
Ah,
no events coming up, there's nothing new which is happening in the life, what do
ah.
I put it across? What do I post on
Yeah,
the LinkedIn?
that's where you have to be very right in terms of choosing what you're writing on. It can't just be about yourself and your journeys. It needs to be about other people, other topics, other subjects also. And I think newspapers do help a lot. I think in my first 3 years of writing on LinkedIn, I would read newspaper every day, and every day I would get my topic only from there, because it's full of information. And if not the article I would read on newspaper, it would just give me a thought कि अरे मैंने ये पढ़ा तो मैं इसके बारे में भी search कर सकती हूँ, and then I would Google something else and then read about that and then write a post. So I think newspaper is your dictionary for everything. So if you run out of topics ever, just refer to that. Even I do that and I find topics very easily then.
Okay, thank you so much. I think now when I go through the lot of questions what we have, most of them are again repetitive. So I will just take one last question
Yeah.
from Sudipta Ghosh. What kind of content should we start with, ma'am? Again, it's the same question I would say. What kind of content should we have to put it across? But yeah, as a disclosure disclaimer, I would say if you have to give a message to the audience
Ah.
that in a very short and crisp that okay, what is that which basics they need to do? There's no second choice, there's no second chance for them. They must do this in LinkedIn. So if you could brief out on few points on that, it would be really great.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of questions around what to start with, and I can get where they're coming from, because finding your purpose or niche can be very difficult unless you experiment a lot. And I personally, by the way, my first post on philosophy was full of sun, moon, and stars. And if you read that, you will feel like, oh my God, how can she write a post like that? But I also didn't know, what to start with. And I just randomly started. It just got 3 likes. I still remember. But slowly and steadily, I found my niche as and when I started to write. So I think starting is the main point, and not where you start, but how you start and when you start. That's one. And the second is that I can give you all a suggestion that you are already studying at this business school, GIBS. So why don't you start a post on your experience so far in the business school? What have you learned? Or for example, from this session only, if you make a post from this session and talk about the fact that you've attended this session, and who was asking that मेरे life में कुछ events नहीं हुआ है, किस बारे में लिखूं? Please write about this event. This is the latest event. So
Again, Again, I would like to add here, do tag GIBS and Radhika as well, so that at least we can acknowledge the same.
Yeah, we will engage with you. And like I was saying, that if anybody engages with your post outside of your connection, it gives you a lot of reach. So I'm sure that I can speak for myself. I will definitely engage with your post. And this is just an idea for you that you can start with this because you will also feel
Very true.
happy that ठीक है मैं कुछ कर सकती हूँ या कर सकता हूँ, because everybody thinks कि यार मोटिवेशन तो मिल गया पर करे क्या भाई आगे, कैसे शुरू कैसे करना है. सो आई एम एग्जैक्टली गिविंग यू व्हाट टू start with this session. Write your top 5 takeaways from the session, and write that why you attended the session and why others should also learn about LinkedIn. How is it helpful for you to build a personal brand now that you've heard me and heard the great questions that Sandeep has been asking from you guys in the chat box. Start with that, and the second post that you can do is about your educational journey so far, and also a post about your business school journey. It is a very nice period in your life right now, and you will remember this 20 years down the line when you are working, that oh my god, I had such a great time with my friends, with my school, with my teachers during this time, because it doesn't come back. You're only studying for a few years in your life. After that, it's full work and execution and building your name in the corporate world. So enjoy this time of your life and write nice insights. It could be about your friend also that you're writing on.
Fantastic.
You don't have to wait to meet Ronnie Screwwala to write a post and put a picture, right? You can make your friend also a star. And every individual today has a story to tell, and their stories are very unique with a lot of learnings. So don't think that you have to be seen with a Shah Rukh Khan or Elon Musk only. Your friend also sitting beside you is a star in the class. Talk to them about their experiences. Start writing about that, and I'm sure people will love to read it because usse relatability aati hai, right? Your people who are reading the post are not like Shah Rukh Khan or Jeff Bezos. They are people like you and me who are normal people, simple people. And when you write about normal people, that's when the relatability will come and people will get excited ki wow, this is so nice that he talked about their friend. मेरे साथ भी ऐसा होता है मेरे friend के साथ, and this is what we also faced in our business school in our days, or we are currently facing in our business school. So you'll start building that community initially, of all the business school students, since you're also a business school student. So start with that, and I'm sure it's a great start. I think I've given you the biggest thing that you can start with. I don't think so anybody now will have a question कि शुरू कैसे करें, लिखे किस पे. इस पे लिखो, and I'm looking forward to all your posts. I'll make sure all of you become stars who start doing this. Because I remember I went to a summit in Delhi. It was one of the women only college, and one of the students asked me how do I become a LinkedIn top voice. I told her to do something, and she started doing that very same day. She started with posting about the event which I told her to. She then started talking about her journeys, her experiences, and within a year or so she got that LinkedIn top voice badge, and she messaged me that thanks for giving me that push, that suggestion. And I think you've been a part of my journey in getting this, although I've not done anything much. Of course, she's done everything in terms of executing it and listening to me. But yeah, people have reached places, and I hope and I really wish people who have given, all the 66 people today who have given their precious time of 1 hour to me to listen to me, I hope it converts into something substantial for you, and you do get the badge going forward. Today LinkedIn is giving badge to everybody in different sectors, like top economics voice, top content creator voice, top sustainability voice. So you have a higher chance of getting that badge today if you're posting consistently and talking about a topic. So start with this B school journey of yours and this event, and I'm sure you will have the right takeoff, and you don't have to land soon. Just enjoy the ride up in the air and fly for as long as you can.
That sounds really great, Miss Radhika. I would say thank you so much for that, because what happens is they need a start, right? And when we say they need a start, as you rightly said, that you write about this, so they're very clear what they have to write. So similar way, I'm sure you will be attending a lot of such webinars, such online sessions, offline sessions. You've been for any kind of conference, any awards. How was your journey? How was your experience? What were your takeaways? That can be one of the very substantial content which you can certainly put it across in your LinkedIn. And I'm sure this is your relevant content. This is not the chat GPT which is writing it. This is your content which you need to post it, right? So thank you so much, Ms. Radhika, for being with us
Not
today.
writing a post, you should take a picture of this screen that you are seeing so that you have a picture to post with the content. That's like number one rule for any algorithm. I told you multiple times in the session. So in case you guys are posting about the event, please click a picture so that you have something to put up with your post.
You can certainly take the screenshot of this, which will help you on any which way. This video will also be live. I mean, it will be posted on GIBS IRE channel of YouTube. So you can again re-refer this content again, just to understand in case if you're stuck somewhere, you want to understand something else, or while writing a content, you missed out on something, you can certainly recheck and write it again. Right. So once again, heartfelt gratitude to Ms. Radhika. Thank you so much for joining in. It was really amazing having you with us, and we are very happy to that you have shared your insightful content and information with all of us. And this will surely make a lot of new, there's LinkedIn top voices in a
Yeah,
different categories again they would choose on. So looking forward for them. And in case if you want to have more idea, you can certainly follow Miss Radhika. In I mean, one of the audience was also saying, "Sir, ma'am, I've already followed you,
yeah,
so you will
I
have
saw
more
that
followers."
sign he posted.
Yes, yes, right. So a lot of them will be following it you, but it's always good to follow people, something like Ms. Radhika, who gives you good content, so that you are in the right direction what you're putting it across, right? So thank you once again, Ms. Radhika, for joining us. It was really great having you with us today. And last but not the least, I would also extend my
I
yes, please.
actually look forward to the messages from people who joined today's webinar. Do give your feedback to me personally, and I would love to hear from you on LinkedIn. I'm very active in responding to good messages, not just like one accept my request. So I'm hoping that you guys will give feedback on the session, and I'm happy to guide you in whichever ways you have, because due to short of time we couldn't take a lot of questions, and I'm sure once you start your journey you will have more questions. So happy to guide you there. And I always wonder what success is, and in my mind, if I'm not able to create another set of top voices through my voice, I don't think I have been successful enough. So my motivation is really to make you all the top voices on the platform. So reach out for any help if needed. And thanks, Sandeep, for all the great questions. I think this was by far one of the best sessions I've had, because of the great questions you and the audience have asked me. They were so pointed and so specific in nature that it could bring out the right answers from me, because I do podcasting. I know that how important it is to ask the person the right question. Even if you have Modi sitting in front of you, if you ask stupid questions, you won't get the right answers. Modi bhi
Right
agar
answer.
people won't watch it, because what are they getting out of it? Nothing. So thanks for asking those right questions, and really enjoyed the session.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Radhika, for joining us. And I would also like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the participants who've been here. Last but not the least, one announcement I have here, that we have our next session in our IRE Talk series happening on 7th May. This has been presented by the keynote speaker is Mr. Aditya Oza. The Oza is a chief marketing officer and co-founder of eMotorRad. I'm sure you would have seen him with Mr. Dhoni uh, endorsing his brand eMotorRad. So looking forward to see you all once again on 7th May, and do follow Ms. Radhika as well as GIBS on all social media platforms to stay
See you
connected and to learn more things.
another topic for another post. And I'm so glad that y'all are hosting such brilliant sessions with different leaders. I know that founder of eMotorAd, and he's a brilliant guy. I'm sure you guys are going to learn a lot from him. So do write a post on him as well after their session. Write about his journey, and write about the questions you've asked him, because that post will, of course, again give you a leverage to start showing people that,
To
okay,
start.
you've heard these people and you've met them virtually, and these were the takeaways from their session. So I'm glad that you yourself are now giving the students topics to write on LinkedIn. So I don't think so anybody should have this question now, because the business school is doing a great job. And by the way, I got this message already from a guy called Piyush. I don't know if he's there or still. Piyush Dikshit already messaged me on LinkedIn saying about the session. So I'm looking forward to all your messages again, and I'm gonna make sure that y'all rise and shine.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we also wish you good luck. Radhika, I mean, stay connected always, and looking forward to see you in even more, much brighter spreads of life as well.
I'm
All
hoping
right.
to come to your college in person anytime in future so that I could meet these brilliant guys also in person.
Certainly, we'll do that. Certainly, we'll do that.
Done, done. And
Yeah.
do share with them the link of my podcast, which is
Certainly, we'll do that.
of all the women leaders, business owners, and investors, so that these guys can also
Certainly.
from it. We talk a lot about their businesses and journeys, and maybe once they listen the podcast, they can write about that also as a post. So I'm also getting so many ideas. Like मेरे को लगता है मुझे ये कोई बता देता तो कितना अच्छा होता when I started. Listen to
That's
podcasts
right.
also, guys. You can just listen to any podcast and write about that podcast on your post. That can also be a very good starting point, and you'll never run out of topics because itne sare podcast hai aajkal. But do start with
Hmm.
my podcast. It's called Wiping Out the Norm. You'll find it everywhere on Spotify and YouTube. But Sandeep will also share the link to it.
Certainly, I'll do that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Radhika. And looking forward to see you in person as well.
Bye. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Bye bye. Thank you.